Yo, listen, no edits, no cuts. I just got done playing Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and I'm kind of late. I know the game has been out. I just beat it, right? And I don't do video game reviews. I'm not gonna throw no footage or nothing on here. This ain't even a video game review. This is just me using my platform to speak about something that I think is actually very important. Every time I see people breaking down this game, it's very just technical. I'm not gonna really do that. Like, I'll talk about the gameplay and that, but it's the story and in particular, the ending and what I metaphorically got from the story, which to me is, for me, the best, probably one of the best stories I've gotten from a video game in a while, for the message that it came out with, for the timing in which it came out. Spoilers, all that, we're going straight into it. The gameplay, let's talk about that first. The gameplay is an evolved version of the first Spider-Man game. The swinging around the city is better, and you know that in a Spider-Man game, that's basically the most important thing. If you know a Spider-Man game is good when you can just swing around through the city therapeutically and it just feels good. Like, that's good. They had little new stunts you could do in the air, that whole new system, that was great. The combat system is basically the same as the first one. I think it may be a little tighter. I have to go back and play the first one again. Basically kind of like Arkham, but I love that style of, that fighting style in video games anyway. Especially games like that, like big open world brawler type games like that. Shot got nice. At the end, Shot got very Neo Matrix with mine. But anyway, that was dope. One thing I did not enjoy, one thing I think is a very big, I'm gonna tell you my two biggest cons in this game. First one is it's very short. The game is very short. It's very short. It's upsettingly short. You know, like, I'm mad at how short it is. I feel like they could have, maybe they rushed it a bit to put out. I don't think the game mechanics suffer in any way. It ain't no cyberpunk situation. It's just more, I think, the amount of content in the game suffers. There is a good amount of content in it for how short it is, really, but you can beat it pretty fast if you really dedicate. I had to slow down on purpose just so I didn't feel like I beat it too fast. It's too short. And then another thing I was not a fan of the costumes, the other costumes that Spider-Man had, that Miles had in this game. I think Peter in the first game had way more sauce. I thought his outfits were way more drippy. I thought Miles was kind of like, nigga, this a nigga from Harlem. This is a Harlem. This is a nigga in Harlem. Is he from Harlem? Can't remember from he's in. But regardless, this is New York nigga, dog. Patch band. He should have had a few more drippy. I feel like it was weird, especially the Exxon suit when you got it. Like, it was kind of like, it had like the spider arms when you did the grab. I felt like it was too square. It was too liney, but those were basically my biggest gripes. Now, let me just tell you what my main point of this video is. The story. I genuinely think that this story is one of the best stories that I've played or seen in a superhero thing. Now, me being a black person, that may play into it, but I really felt Miles a lot. Like, I was so enthralled and so a part of the story that it really blew me away. Like, I usually don't do videos like this. I had to do it to talk about it. First of all, Harlem, it feels living and breathing. Harlem, listen, I lived in New Jersey. I lived in Rhode Island. And we used to bop up, especially when I lived in Jersey, we used to bop up in New York all the time. And when I tell you, bro, like, that feels like it feels right. It felt right. Like when you walk in and snow, the visuals, this when you on top of a roof of a project building and it's snowing and it's just like, that was absolutely fire. I think they got that so perfectly. You going in bodegas to do missions. You saving bodega cats, man. If you come on, bodega cats. I said, okay, yeah, they loyal to the soil with this one. I knew it was real when I saw homie coming with the Timbos. I said, yeah, nah, this is a different Spider-Man. It's a whole different Spider-Man. But let me get to the part that really blew me away. The part that blew me away about this story is that I feel like with all the things that have been going on, especially for, black people and people of color and minorities in general, I feel like this game covered that the best I've seen covered, because it wasn't heavy-handed and it was metaphorical, but it wasn't really metaphorical. If you know, if you've experienced it, you get it. Like even with the Exxon soldiers, like the military force that's coming over, trying to basically take over Harlem. They're over militarized. They're like I see the connections. I knew it was, and I was thinking like, man, am I reaching or is this a metaphor? I knew it was when I got to that mission where you take the picture on the Black Lives Matter mural. I said, okay, nah, I know what they're doing. Spoilers from here on out, by the way. So at the end, first of all, the relationship that all the characters had, I thought was very realistic. Finn and Miles' relationship, in the short amount of time that you see in that game, it goes through so many things, but it feels real. Now, there's certain things I felt like she did that was kind of stupid. Like, why didn't you just... But I also feel like she did that because slowly revenge was making her go crazy. You know what I mean? Like the great parable, or maybe not parable, whatever they say. In the road of revenge, if you're looking for revenge, dig 2 ditches. One for the person, one for you, cuz. That's basically how she was going crazy in her sought of revenge. There's no edit. I'm literally just recording this right after this. Made her go crazy. So, and then Miles' uncle too, like the levels where you get into the music, and as a rapper, as a music, that was dope. And you putting the sounds of the city together. I'm basically doing this video because I don't really got nobody to talk to about the game, so I'm using y'all to talk to about it. I don't even know how good the video is gonna do. It's a passion project. But let's just talk about the end, man. Listen, I see the metaphor of Finn. First of all, the metaphor of Miles being, it's not even a metaphor, being a young black male in today's society, and we live in a society that didn't sound like that. I didn't mean for it to sound like that, but I'm gonna go right to because it's hard. Like my mind is so many places. It's hard, but okay, I'm gonna go right to the very, very last sequence, very last mission, where Finn is, that reactor is overcharging, and Finn doesn't realize that it's gonna destroy Harlem until basically it's too late. And first of all, I felt weird fighting Finn at the end. That's how good I felt, because I understood where she was coming from. And so every time you had to punch her, you had to throw her through something, or you had to hit her with the venom punch, slam. Okay, I felt weird, you know what I mean? But that's how good the writing was. Where the city is boiling over. I mean, the reactor's boiling over because the dude who, the main villain who made the thing, really, it's like a metaphor of the big business dumping all their problems off, and then it makes it where you talk about black on black crime. I saw that as a metaphor for that too, where it's like, really, the person who is the villain is not even at the ending battle. It's two people who were affected by his decisions having to battle each other because of proximity. Yo, hopefully, yo, the creators of Spider-Man, I'm with you. Whoever wrote this, you A1 since day one. So when the reactor's overcharging and Miles grabs the reactor and he absorbs the power, right? First of all, you get flashbacks of when Miles' dad passed away in the first game. I said it was all spoilers from here. And you know Miles nothing's gonna happen to Miles, because come on now, he's a main character. But I'm sitting there at the edge of my seat and he has to take in and hold in all that pain as much as he can. And then Finn does the final sacrifice where she grabs him and she flies up and then she says, it's okay, let go. He lets go. So like Finn flies him up so he doesn't destroy Harlem and his friends, because he's basically a nuclear reactor at this point, and she dies. Now, here's where I got the metaphor, and this is why I literally shed a tear at the end of this. It's because to me, that was like a metaphor of, as a black male, sometimes all the stuff Miles went through, all the pain, he went through a lot through that game. He evolved it through that game. He's more of a man through the end of the game. All this stuff that beats you down. Sometimes you're forced to hold it in. You're forced to keep that in. Like, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. And you gotta act like, nah, I could do this. But when Finn flies him up, because it was the way she said, it's okay, let go. And the way that she's holding him like a baby, it made me think of like a black mother, or like how black people, man, that shit really hit me. How it's like, yo, it's okay. You can let go. And through letting go, she sacrificed herself, but the city was saved. Oh, my bad. Sorry about the weird, awkward cut, but I forgot to say this too in the main thing. At the end, when Miles was falling down, and the people of Harlem see him without his mask, right? And the news reporter comes up and she asks the people, she asked that dude, like, you saw him without his mask, who is he? And he holds it down. He stays solid. He ain't snitching, no Takashi in his blood. What he say? He said, he's our Spider-Man. And I know exactly what they meant by he's our Spider-Man. It also shows to me, the metaphor I got from that was, if we can come together, if we could love each other, protect each other, there's nothing we can't fight against. Yeah, because he's our Spider-Man. Emphasis on our. Back to the video. So I look at it like, sometimes that we gotta keep things in, and I'm talking to black people right now. We keep things in, and it makes us makes us very cold and violent and stuff, because we gotta, our exterior, our toughness is basically how we react to the things that happen to us. But if you get that moment of catharsis where you can just let go, you can really that's the only way to really free yourself from that thing that you're holding in there. And though we sacrifice she was willing to sacrifice herself for that, because she understood what that meant when he got that out. The second Miles got that out of his body, he evolved to another character. He became, when he's talking, and then I almost was like, and at this time I'm over here batting my eyes, when his mom comes over and she goes, no, not again, or whatever she says, like, no. The way she said, oh no, got me. I was like, oh nah. Whoo! And when he's talking to Pete at the end and he goes, the reason why they did this is because they didn't care about us. They didn't care about Harlem. That's when I really knew, like, okay, I see what y'all was doing there. This to me, forget the video game. Everybody who had to do with the writing, the putting together, the designing, the direction, the acting of this, Round of applause. There's flaws in the game, of course. It's not the perfect game, but it's my game of the year. And that's literally, I'm over here sitting thinking, like, that game changed me, bro. I don't know, there's gonna be people who be like, it was just alright, but maybe, you know, this year, this was the game I needed to play right at this moment. And it's almost like that venom that was in there, it almost made me feel like, like I did it, you know? And the rest is just new game plus, you know? You feel me? I don't know, man. That's how I feel about it. Shout out if you watch it all the way to the end. Great game. Love you. We out.